Okay. The starting is always the hardest part for me. Welcome back, Outdoor Minimalists. Today I will be discussing what I put in my dog's pack. So today I'm just going to be overviewing some standard things that I bring with me so you can have an idea of what you need to outfit your dog for your next backpacking trip. So of course you need a backpack that's properly fitted. And before you start putting things inside, I think it's important to understand your dog's ability level. So for a standard household pet, so a dog that probably goes on neighborhood walks, maybe the occasional hike, they're not necessarily considered like a well-conditioned dog, a sport dog, or an athletic dog. They really should only be carrying about 10 to 15% of their body weight. But for a dog like Leo, who does some mushing sports and a lot of endurance activities, he can actually carry up to 30 to 50% of his body weight if necessary. But I generally don't have him carry that much. That would be more so for like long distance trekking. He would have that capability. So I use this Ruffwear Approach dog pack. It comes in extra small to extra large sizes. I believe this is just the large. And they have a sizing chart on their website so you can appropriately fit your dog. I use this backpack for any of my 3 dogs. It fits them just fine. But primarily my youngest dog Leo wears it on longer day hikes, so he can carry a variety of things for all of us, along with backpacking. Some of these items you might recognize from my How I Pack for a Day Hike video, including this Fido Pro Emergency Rescue Harness for dogs. This allows me to carry out any of my 3 dogs if they are to be injured or incapacitated and can no longer walk on the hike. I have used it a few times. I highly recommend getting one of these if you are someone that hikes or backpacks with your dog a lot, because I've also carried out my oldest dog, Ash, who's about 60 pounds, without one of these. And yeah, that's really hard, okay? I do not recommend doing that. So these are lightweight, they're small enough, they can fit inside this pack. So either I can carry it in my day pack or Leo can carry it in this pack for us. The next thing is a leash and some poop bags. You can see I always have poop bags connected to the leashes that I use, and depending on the area in which you are hiking, you may need to have your dogs leashed at all times. Where I live, some of the areas, they either need to be leashed or under voice control. So for 2 of my dogs, they are reliable under voice control, so Leo will carry the extra leashes that I'm not using at the current time. Next is I always carry dog treats. So this is a brand that my dogs really like. It's the Jinx brand. It's available at most major outlets, including Walmart. And they come in like small little training size pieces, and I trained all of my dogs using positive reinforcement. And so I like to carry treats with me, so if they are following through on the things that we've worked on, then I can reward them. Also, I like having snacks while I hike, so why not bring them for the dogs too, because they probably like it. For my oldest dog, Ash, he is the only non-husky that I own, so he does also have to wear jackets from time to time. If there is weather expected, or even if there's not weather expected, just like you would for yourself, I bring a rain jacket for him, and it comes with a small carrying case, so it does pack down pretty small. This is the jacket that he typically wears on hikes, but if it is a high alpine hike in the summertime, I will sometimes just pack this with us in case he gets chilly at the top. And I like this one because it has a harness built into the jacket. And anytime I'm looking for jackets for my dog Ash, who's a pointer mix, I always look for ones that cover his major muscle areas. So I like that it extends all the way like down his back, and it will cover most of his thigh, because that will help him retain heat a lot better. Next is kind of depending to your preference. Because I'm often hiking with 3 dogs at a time, I will bring a lot of water for them, especially because I live in a high desert. So some of the hiking trails we go to, there's no natural water sources for them to drink from. So I always bring my Kong water bottle, the H2O 4K9. And this one, it opens up, you can fill it with water, obviously, pour water in the cap, and they can drink directly from that cap. Since that one water bottle is not enough for all 3 of my dogs, I'll usually bring a couple smart water bottles. Since Leo can carry a high volume of weight, he'll usually carry 1 full water bottle on both sides of the backpack. If I am just bringing smart water bottles, I also bring a collapsible water bowl. Collapsible water bowls are really handy anytime I'm either traveling with my dogs or hiking with my dogs. They are lightweight. I like having this one that has the carabiner so I can attach it to the outside of my pack, or it can be carried inside the dog's backpack. Next, depending on the time of year you're hiking or just for safety purposes, I'll carry LED collars for my dogs, or I'll have them wear them during the hike. While backpacking, I usually just have them carry them in the backpack and then put it on them in camp. But I like these for visibility purposes, especially because some of my dogs do hike off leash from time to time. Just like with humans, we need first aid equipment, and some of my dogs get hot spots or injuries, and this antimicrobial spray works for both. I usually keep most of the first aid equipment that's for myself and the dogs all in one kit. But for this specifically, I usually put it in the backpack just because the bottle is rather large. This one is dependent on your dog. So not all dogs, number one, are muzzle trained, nor do they actually need muzzles. But for dogs that scavenge a lot or ones that may have some aggression issues and you want to bring them on the trail, then I would recommend keeping a muzzle on hand. I will sometimes put it in the pack, depending, because one of my dogs had some aggression issues when we first adopted him. He's been doing a lot better now, but I keep it with just in case for some reason he gets triggered or becomes overly reactive towards people or other dogs. And one of the last things I'm going to mention is actually a bandana, which seems a little bit weird. Why wouldn't they just be wearing it? But I like to keep an extra bandana specifically for my oldest dog, Ash, because he's notorious for losing his bandanas. And I have him wear bandanas because I treat the fabric with something called Permethrin. And Permethrin is safe for dogs and people. People often use it to put on their equipment like tents, clothing, especially jackets and outer shells, to prevent exposure to ticks. So I like to keep an extra Permethrin treated bandana in the backpack just in case one of my dogs loses the one they're already wearing. Last things to discuss with backpacking with your dog and having them wear the backpack. As mentioned, be sure that you're not filling it too full for their body weight. You can test it out at home. Anytime I'm trying out new equipment with my dogs, I make sure that they're well conditioned and comfortable using it. One of my dogs, he absolutely refuses to wear one of these backpacks. I think because it's slightly uncomfortable to him. I'm not sure why. We've tried to condition him for several years now, and he just is not about it. And so I'm not going to force him to wear it because he doesn't like it. But for my other 2 dogs, if you are going to go on a backpacking trip, I recommend filling it with the items you're actually going to have your dog carry, and have them carry it on your day hikes or on your daily walks, not only so they can get used to the feel of the backpack, but so they are more conditioned for the amount of weight that they're going to be carrying. Just like with a standard day hike or backpacking trip, what you bring is going to be kind of tailored to you and your dog's needs. So just because I'm bringing certain items doesn't mean that you have to too. I will often bring duplicates of specific items like the bandanas because I have 3 dogs, but that's not necessary to do. A couple of things that are not shown in this specific setup with gear is food. So if I am backpacking overnight, my dogs will carry their food, which is usually a mix of dry kibble, wet food, and freeze-dry raw, and they'll carry that in this backpack. And just so you can kind of see like an overview of the backpack, this one is the Approach dog pack, and it does not have a front clip, it only has a top clip. Ruffwear does come equipped with a backpack that functions like their harnesses and has a front clip. So if your dog's more accustomed to walking on the front clip harness versus the top clip harness, then that's always an option too. And I think that's all. Happy hiking.